I am back with another video today, and we are in alcohol ink theme. And some of you, if you haven't watched, I have a couple of other videos in this playlist. I do have a giveaway going on, so make sure you watch the details. Keep watching. I will tell you how to enter, and you can win. I'm going to be adding to the giveaway, but it is going to be some of these alcohol markers and some alcohol paper, because you do need special paper and whatnot. But before I get into that, some people were asking, because I do have a video using these, and I'll just link to that video right there. And some people were just wondering what specifically they found, because they found some different packages. So I bought this at Staples. Two have Staples in the US, I'm not sure. I bought this at Staples. It's $16. It's the 36 special edition color collection. It kind of comes in a storage case, so this opens up and it folds out, so there's 3 different sections there. There are different ones. There's this one here at Walmart and this one here at Walmart, and then there's a couple of different other ones. If you can get this one, it is the best one, because it has like a cool carrying case. But this one comes with a couple of ultra fine points, and I'm assuming that they're these ones here. And this is the fine. So these are kind of all available at all times, but right now with back to school stuff, they have some special editions and just some special packaging, and it's a little bit, the prices are a little bit cheaper, I think. So yeah, definitely go and check those out. Today what I want to do is I want to do some markers and some inks, and we're going to use them on different papers to compare them and to see how they work, just so that you can see for yourself. And because each surface will give a different effect, and you might want one effect over the other depending on the look you're going for. And so I just kind of want to go over that in this video so that you know what to expect, and if you're going for this look, you can use this surface. If you're going for this look, so that's what we're going to do today, so stay tuned. Okay, so I have some notes here. This is all the different backgrounds we're going to try them on, and I'm just going to have it here beside me because I will forget. So there's 14 in all right? And we're going to try typical ones that you would want to use, and other ones that you may not think of but might be kind of cool, and other ones that definitely are not for alcohol markers or alcohol inks, but we're going to see what kind of effect we get with them anyway. And so I'm just going to put this to the side, and I have a few different ones here. I'm going to try to do them in groups so that it kind of goes a little bit smoother. I do have my blending brush here, some blending solution. This is the same thing, it's just a little bit of alcohol. Basically, I fill this up and put a couple of drops of glycerin in it, and I have various inks here. I also have some of my homemade inks. That we'll be comparing those later in another video. This is more about the surfaces. So I'm not going to worry about these ones here. We will be going through my DIY alcohol inks as well in another video. There's also mixatives that can be really cool. We're going to cover those in a different video. We're not going to be doing anything with those right now. But those are really cool. And I get asked about mixatives and DIY mixatives and how to make your own mixatives all the time. We'll be doing that in other videos. So I just have a variety here: Tim Holtz, Jacquard, Pinata. The first kind of grouping we're going to do here, and we're going to do some markers and some inks. So as far as which markers I'm going to use, it's just going to be whatever I grab, but we'll do a comparison. Like I said, we'll do a comparison video on different markers later. The first surface that we are going to start on is the Canson tracing paper, and I just bought this. It comes in a pad at Michael's, so I think it's similar to most tracing paper, and as you can see, I'm using it for tracing. The great thing with this is you can trace, and tracing has its own good things about it. You can check out some other videos I've had about doing faces and learning how to do faces. But you can use the tracing paper and then put it into your art journal, put it onto a canvas, and it has a really cool quality. You know, it has a little bit of transparency, and so it can be really cool to add to your other art projects. And, you know, also the tracing aspect of it can help you with just getting faces or whatever you're tracing. As far as the alcohol inks on here, I'm using markers because I'm drawing a face. So to me, it just makes more sense to use markers than an ink bottle. And you can see that it takes a little bit of time to blend, but once you kind of get working with it, it's really cool, and it does get a little bit streaky, but that can just add to the painterly effect. And it can work really well to shade, and it just depends on the different markers you're using. I'm using a whole different assortment of markers, so you can experiment with some things. And I'm just blending in different skin tones here, and just doing some shading, as you can see. And it just takes a little bit of time for that streakiness to work. And then I also take the blender and use that. I did find that the more I worked on it, the more streaky it got. But then as you let it sit and let the alcohol work together, it does kind of even out. And the blender, in a way, will push it. It blends, but it also pushes the color out of the way. So there I'm just dabbing with paper towel, and I found that helped. And here I'm just doing a little flower just to get a different kind of effect, and that actually worked pretty good too. So I do think the tracing paper works pretty good. The only time I would really use it though is if I wanted to trace something and put it in an art journal like I'm showing there. This next one is Deli Paper, and I did not like this at all. I used the smoother side, and I didn't like the effect. You can see the alcohol ink that with the dropper bottle just didn't spread or anything. And I mean, you can use markers on it, but it doesn't really have the same effect. You can do the same thing on marker paper, so I don't think I'll be using the Deli Paper for this purpose at all. And not just because I don't like the face I drew right there. This one is Strathmore Pallet Paper. Again, it's just a pad I got from Michael's, and you buy this for using as watercolor. You've probably seen me use it in some of my watercolor videos. You can use it for acrylic paint, whatever. It's just a palette paper to keep the paint a little bit longer. And I actually really like how this turned out. It kind of sticks in some places, and in other places it moves around. So I actually really like that. Also, I just wanted to mention that I did use the blending brush there. This is 140-pound watercolor paper, and just as I expected, it was completely useless. It really eats up the markers. It just kind of drains all the juice out of them, so it's not good to use. I wouldn't use it at all. This is mixed media 98-pound paper. Same kind of thing. It's a little bit better than the watercolor, but it still just eats up all your markers. There's so much better paper that you could use, so I wouldn't use that. Now this is Durrell Paper. This is really the kind of paper you want to use when you're doing alcohol inks, and the kind of paper everyone thinks about. The kind of effects that you get from alcohol ink that everyone thinks about. The reason why I don't like it is because it's so expensive, and it is a little bit translucent, which can be good, can be bad, depending on what you're going for. But you can see you get awesome things. So as soon as you use paper that is meant for alcohol inks, you can see that you get some awesome effects, and you can see the difference there. And yeah, I'm just kind of experimenting because I'm having a lot of fun. I'm using the blending brush there to make little dots. This is Yupo paper again, just very much like the Durrell, it's more opaque. This one is, but again, it's expensive, so I don't like using it. But you get the same effects, and I am actually trying to paint some kind of scenery, and just to see, I hadn't ever tried to do a scenery with alcohol markers or inks before. So I thought, well, let's just try this out. And I'm kind of making it up as I go along. And I've never actually painted scenery with markers before. I usually do it with a paint, like acrylic paint on a canvas. So this is a new experience for me, and I'm just trying a few different things. I dropped some ink there, or I put some ink there, then I dropped some blending alcohol solution and mixing it up, and you can just see I'm just kind of having fun because it works so well on paper that it's supposed to work on, that is meant for it. And it's just a good thing that the next one we find is Kirkland Photo Paper, which is so much cheaper, and I actually really like it. So, but I want to show you the Yupo and Durrell as well. So here is the Kirkland Photo Paper. You get 150 sheets of this for like 20 bucks at Costco. And I'm just kind of doing a skyline of Venice, maybe. It's my typical Venice skyline I do. And again, never really done this with markers before. Never occurred to me to try. I've painted this with watercolor and acrylic, but this is completely different. I actually really like working with alcohol ink on the Kirkland Photo Paper. I prefer using the ink bottles or drawing flowers and then blowing them out with blending solution. So this is completely different because in general I just don't like doing scenes with markers. I'd rather paint with a paintbrush. But I wanted to try it just to see how it would work. And yeah, it works really good. This is the paper you want to use. I like the Kirkland brand better than Yupo, not just because of the price, but I actually like how it works better. And if you haven't seen my video where I do the flowers on this paper, then go and check that out. I will put the link up in the right there, and it is in this playlist. And here I am just trying some different colors. Honestly, I'm just kind of experimenting with my markers more than the paper because I already know the paper works. And so now I'm just kind of trying some different colors. And I actually really like the colors that I have on the buildings on the left there. And now I'm just seeing what I can do with a sunset color. And the markers really blend really nice on this paper, and the blending marker works well. I'm going to be adding some solution here and just kind of working with it and just trying it out. And I'm pretty happy with how this works on there. I'd rather paint it with a paintbrush. So it's not like I'm going to start doing this all the time, but it was an experiment. So you can see there, that's the blending solution just in my water brush. And what's really nice is you can just go back in if you needed to add some more yellow and whatever, and go back in and add more colors. Here I am using the Bristol paper that I got from Michael's. It's 146 pound smooth Bristol paper, speedball. I did not like how that turned out at all, so we actually just moved right away from it. And this is the marker paper. This works really well. You can see it. I was surprised. I didn't think it would work to blow out those flowers, and it works if you get to them pretty quick. This is paper for markers, not to do the alcohol ink flowers that I usually do, not the, in the upper left there on the paper. It's not really for this purpose. It's more for what I'm doing with the face there. And it blends the markers really nice. You can really work with markers on this, not so much blowing out ink and stuff. But you can see how nice that blends. Like it's really nice. So if you are wanting to do that kind of effect, the marker paper is where it's at. I decided to add the next two here. This is in my art journal with some matte medium on top of a wash I did. And the alcohol markers work really well on there. They have a different effect. Because the matte medium is a little bit of a slicker surface, not as much as Mod Podge or gel medium would be, but it still works. You can definitely do a face in there. It's kind of translucent, so like I'm already thinking that this person should be like a water person, like a mermaid or something like that, because you can see the wash that I did behind that just gives that effect. So you don't have to put, you could just do matte medium on plain white paper and then you would use your markers to blend and whatever, but you can really take advantage of that background and do something over top of that. And you can see that it's blending pretty well. I'm just kind of moving it around with my fingers and just trying some different things there. And I'm just adding Sharpie pen and some white. You can see how much more time you want to spend, and I'm spending on paper that really works with the markers. I'm not sure how that would work with the inks in the bottles. And this is another art journal, and I'm just going to a page that has some gesso on it, and I don't know, just doodling, just so you can see how that works. And I actually, I didn't think I would like how it worked, but it's kind of cool. Like, it's got its own little thing. It blends a little bit on that gesso, and each gesso is different, so you're going to have to try different gesso. This is the Liquitex Professional brand, not the Basics, but the Liquitex Professional. It's the one with the darker blue label. And then here, I'm just doing it on acrylic paint, just matte acrylic paint. Kind of in the craft section is where you find it, not actually in the art section. And this is just using some markers and mixing it up. And then, oh, and here I'm going back with some blending solution just because I had the idea and thought that would be interesting. So you can see that that actually works quite well, and it just gives a little bit of a wash and just for an easy background. Okay, so that was a lot of stuff I just showed you. I might have to break that into two parts actually. So I actually love this effect on gesso. I did not think this would work. I was like, it's not gonna work. But I actually love it. I guess I've used it before, like on canvases and stuff, with gesso on canvases, and then I do a lot of mixed media backgrounds, which is another video I'll be showing you, a mixed media background on canvas. One thing to just check is if all my markers are clean. If you are doing this, just check to make sure that you have cleaned all your markers. I think I pretty much said everything in the narration. So that's the end of this video, and I hope that that gave you some information that you can use. And remember to enter the giveaway. You can check out everything on the playlist. There is an actual giveaway video, but you do need to watch all the videos in this playlist and comment on each one of them and give a thumbs up or thumbs down on each one of them, and you need to be subscribed to me. I will see you on another video.